UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres seems to have perfected the art of selective diplomacy, unwittingly making headlines as he bowed before Russian President Vladimir Putin on October 24th, the very day commemorating the UN Charter's inception in 1945. A picture of this moment is circulating on social media, sparking calls for Guterres' ouster amid growing outrage. In a scene reminiscent of political satire, Guterres celebrated UN Day in Kazan, seemingly oblivious to the chorus of criticism for lending legitimacy to a leader Kyiv and its allies have branded a war criminal. His visit to Russia, amid rising tensions over the Ukraine conflict, has sparked outrage among Ukrainian officials, who accuse him of tacitly endorsing Putin's actions. The Ukrainian Foreign Ministry lambasted Guterres' decision to engage with the Russian leader, labeling it a wrong choice that tarnishes the UN's reputation. Adding to their bitterness is the fact that Guterres had previously declined Ukraine's invitation to a peace summit earlier this year in Switzerland, raising eyebrows about his priorities. The backdrop to this controversial visit was the 16th BRICS summit, where Guterres appeared more than willing to engage with leaders eager to bolster their narratives. The imagery of him listening to Putin, who sought to cast himself as a global peacemaker, is particularly jarring for Kyiv. This sentiment was echoed by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in his nightly address, where he stressed that the rights of nations and the norms of international law do and will continue to matter, despite UN officials' prioritization of temptations in Kazan.
Today, on United Nations Day, it is important that the world does not forget about the goals and principles of the UN Charter and the purpose of creating this organization. Even though some of its officials may prioritize temptations in Kazan over the content of the UN Charter, our world is built in such a way that the rights of nations and the norms of international law do and will continue to matter.
Adding to the spectacle, Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko presented Guterres with a symbolic gift, a stork sculpture, during the summit proclaiming, "We really need peace, Antonio." The summit, held from October 22nd, 24, featured participation from over 20 countries, reflecting BRICS' expanding influence. Under Russia's leadership, the bloc positions itself as a counterbalance to Western hegemony, now encompassing nearly half of the world's population and a third of the global economy. As Guterres calls for a just peace in Ukraine, aligning his remarks with the UN Charter and international law, one must ponder, does this famed pursuit of peace overshadow the significant backlash he's incited